Good evening. Ira Epstein, and here we are with your Monday evening metal market wrap-up. And this wrap-up is for the evening of Monday, as I just said, April 28th, 2025, 6:20 p.m. Central Time, and interesting markets. Gold sitting here near the 350 level, doing a good job of just holding in there. Silver market, the gold-silver ratio is flip-flopping either side of the 18-day average right now. The market in the copper got up to the $5 level recently, pulled back, sort of sitting here. I think it's waiting to see what China does next. And the platinum is a good day of support in the market as it got over some key moving averages. In the stock market, you had a day that was down most of the session until the latter part of the trading day. And then once you got past the 1 o'clock area, the market started coming to life, and going into the close, a number of markets tried to rally there. If you look at the energy markets, you're seeing a little bit of a down here. Nat gas, well, you lost the bearish embedded readings. Will the market get a pop to it? Bonds and notes sort of just sitting. Now, in terms of the news, what we're getting tomorrow is Red Book Group will update their weekly retail sales at 7:55. Case-Shiller, we're going to tell us what we can't afford. The 20 metro home prices for February, and the word is February, that comes out at 8 o'clock. The Conference Board U.S. Consumer Confidence Index, well, that's going to be released at 9. The JOLTS report, the Job Opening and Labor Turnover Survey for March, well, that'll come out at 9 o'clock, and you always look at that to see what those numbers look like. And the API numbers, well, they're going to come out at 3:30 in the afternoon. Of course, we're in earnings season. We're going to get a number of the big 7 tech stocks coming out. We will see just if they are able to keep up and where they're going. Now, as we take a look, we might as well go and take a look at what the gold looks like on a weekly chart. So as we look at this weekly chart, you can see how the market is just sort of hanging in there. It so far has what we call an inside week. It hasn't taken out the prior week's high or low. The market has pulled back recently, and as you can see from that spike when it got over the 3,500 level, it's consolidating. The big question is for what? Another move to the upside, or we're going to get a further correction in the market. At this point, you have a pattern of higher lows, and this high is not as high as that high. So I look at the market from that perspective first as bullish, but there's another perspective to look at. You do see the spike high there, and then you have a spike here that's lower. So the better way to look at it is the market has gone into a pause of higher lows and lower highs as the market now is starting to form one of these wedges that we look at to see, can it break out again, up or down? Which way is it going to go? It can spend a little more time doing that. It's not unusual. The 18-day moving average is under the market, sitting here at 32.35. The Bollinger Band top is back now at 35.13. Remember, markets rarely stay over Bollinger Bands for more than 5% of the time. They can run them, but what they typically do is they'll run them back and forth. They'll get under it again, then they pop and they push on it. But just day after day up, it's not that common that you should go more than 5 days in a row. And it's often a resistance point. To go from here and do that again, it would take some event. I don't know what the event would be, but it would have to be something very, very important, and we would see what that is. In terms of momentum, the market stepped away from its bullish momentum. I'm not through saying to you that before the market takes out that high, I am continuing to look for price and the 18-day average to make a better run at each other than they've done so far. In the gold-silver ratio, I left this as green, but the reality is I could color it gold. I wanted you to just see how the market's going back and forth at that 18-day average of closes. In the silver market, you have an overbought market that is in the thralls of trying to embed. Now, you cannot count tonight's numbers as embedded. Embedded means both numbers are going over 80 for several days in a row or more. You can't count this because we just opened for tomorrow's trade. We don't know where it'll finish up. But we already know where the market was on Monday, and we know that if we look at Friday, you didn't have that situation. So you cannot embed. You're just overbought at this point in time. You have an overbought market that I see void of a trend, but it has the bias up, and it has managed to get over the 100-day, the 18, and the 200-day average. So that means on pullbacks, in theory, those should act as something of a buffer for support in the market. The copper market's been able to stay over the 18-day average, and it too is now working on being embedded. We cannot count tonight, but we can look and see you had both numbers over 80 on yesterday, but not that way on Friday. So like the silver, overbought, never did embed, owes nothing on the downside. These are all support points in the market from 466.80 all the way down to 446, 65 or so. Then we get to the platinum, where I was impressed with this today. The market was able to clear and stay over all these moving averages, the 200 in gray, the 100-day. So now on pullbacks, I look for that to be supportive. If it were embedded, I'd get very bullish. It's not. It's just overbought. It's used a lot of its power to do this. Can it get a piece of news to run with? In addition, the risk factor, where would you put a stop? If you're telling me, oh, I'm going to put the stop under the 960 level, that's $3,300 away. That's an awful lot of money to risk on a fling in the market. So I'm not thinking you're really going too far one way or the other yet. When I look at the dollar, you had a bearish embedded reading that you lost. Normally, price and the 18-day average make a run at each other. You began that, but you failed. You pulled back. So like so many of these that we've just lost, you're starting and you're pulling back. Until that's taken out, I still expect it. What I think is on the way here is this market is just saying part of it. I'm not buying what all this tariff news is, that we're doing better and that there's deals. Again, it takes years normally to do a trade deal. We're trying to get them done in now 70 days or so. I think what you can end up with easier than a full-blown trade deal is an MOM, Memorandum of MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, LOU, Letter of Understanding, MOM, help. And that's basically what I think you're going to be headed for. That would be considered good news in that the center part of the deal is done. It would give the Trump administration a reason no longer to pause a tariff. They could say it's just not going to take place, whatever they want to call it. This is now the progress in work. And it's a way for them to make headway. Do I think that'll be the case? I hope that is the case. We will find out. Now, I want to remind you on some of the other things that, we have all these free offers, and we're writing about this. We're writing about the impact on what's happening with, for example, if you're a grain trader and all of a sudden, why soybean oil been so strong? Well, you don't realize we used to get used cooking oils from China, and we'd use that for biofuels. Well, now we got to take it from other things that we can grow. So now you've got to go competing for other products. That's what's going on. Today, the Ag Administration said that Mexico's agreed to a water deal for Texas ranchers. These are some of the things. Then we go into the heart of what the metals are doing, where we're at. Metals had a big run to 3,500. Is it a buy at 3,300 thinking you're going back there, or is it time to sit back? These are the things we talk about. So go to iraepstein.com, free offers, and when you get there, all you need to do at that point in time is choose what you'd like to get from us, news reports, special reports that we write, price counts, it's all there for you. I'm Ira. I'll catch up with you first thing in the morning and in tonight's other videos. Have a good evening.